This is a reading from the notebooks written in 1943 by Maria Valtorta. This is August the 7th. Jesus says, "You read in the book, he, the wicked man, will be led to the tomb and keep watch with the throng of the dead. Pleasing to the gravel of hell, he will draw all men after him, and an innumerable crowd before him. All mankind is sinful. One single creature did not savor, I won't say the bitter taste, but the bitter smell of sin, and that was Mary, my very sweet mother. She did not cause me to miss the paradise I had left, to become flesh in your midst, and redeem your flesh. For in Mary I found the eternal whiteness and shining love which are in heaven. In her, the Father, who caressed her as the perfect one among creatures. In her, the Holy Spirit, who penetrated her with his fire, to make the Virgin the mother. Around her, the angelic cohorts worshipping the Trinity in a creature. The breast of Mary, the heart of Mary, the mind most enraptured in God, cannot descend to the very depth or rise up to the summit of these two perfections of purity and love. I illuminate them for you. I illuminate them for the dearest ones among the dear, but only when you are where knowledge is perfect will you understand Mary. All humanity is sinful, but there is the sinner who is just a sinner, and there is the wicked one, that is, the one who takes sin to a demoniacal perfection. For in evil, the devil is able to reach perfection, and his most loyal disciples are not less than their master. I told you previously, Lucifer strives to imitate God. In evil, of course, he takes on the forms, shall we say, of life and death, which the Son of God had. The devil poses as Christ, and, like Christ, has apostles and disciples. Among them he will select the perfect one to make him the Antichrist. For the time being, we are in the period preparatory to the precursors of the latter. I have already told you this. The wicked one will be led to the tomb. That is only natural. Lucifer can give every assistance to his favored ones, his faithful, his slaves, but not immunity from death. For only I am life, and only I have overcome death. Therefore, when the totality of the evil committed by the wicked one is fulfilled, I give the order to death to take possession of that flesh. That flesh thus experiences the horror of the tomb. And for the wicked one, it will be a real tomb. For the good, the redeemed, and the forgiven, it is not such, for they believe and know on the basis of faith. It is a place where mortal garb returns to its nature as dust, discharging the spirit in expectation of that hour when what was created will be reformed, to enter glory, or damnation, with the perfection of creation which God created for man, that is, with the union of a spirit to flesh, an immortal spirit, like God, its creator and father, and mortal flesh, as formed from an earthly animal, king of the earth, heir of heaven, but too often preferring the earth to heaven, and existing as an animal, not in being endowed with a soul, but in living no less, and sometimes more brutishly than real animals do. Souls, when separated from bodies, have three dwellings, and they will have them until there remain only two, after the judgment, which shall not err. The blessed immediately rejoice in eternal rest. The suffering actively accomplish their expiation, thinking of the hour of their liberation in God. The damned toss and turn in anger over the good lost. No, the more wicked they have been, the less they find rest in their terrible torture. But the wicked one, he who by his wickedness has drawn others into wickedness, and pushed others into sin, these are the men and the crowds of which the book speaks, will be like an unsleeping tower in a stormy sea. Before him, the throng of those slain in their souls, by him, before him, the keen memory of so many homicides of souls committed by him, and remorse, which has given no peace to those who kill since the day Cain shed his brother's blood, will scourge him much more atrociously than the infernal scourges. He will keep watch over his crime, which hurled itself against God in God's creatures, and, like a raging beast, brought slaughter into souls. It is tremendous to have the proof of the misdeeds before oneself, a punishment added to the punishments, measureless horror, as the sins of the wicked one among sinners are measureless. But now, Maria, for the consolation of your heart, which sinks before the gashes of another world, where love does not reign, but the sternness of God, relieve your spirit by listening to these words entirely for you, and for souls like you. Do you know what the souls given to love mean for me? My paradise on earth. It is you that bring a little slice of heaven into this poor world, and on that little slice the Son of God sets his feet to come find his delights among the sons and daughters of the Father. Open your heart to your Jesus, and give me your heart. Give it entirely to me. I want it, as the physician and friend of the spirit and the flesh, as the spouse and God who has chosen you because of your faith and your bold sentiment of love.